Welcome to Contest Prep University, everybody. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, and we're going to start a new series as we kick off a new year, back to our smaller segments. So the series I want to start with, Adam, is metabolic management as we enter a pre-contest phase. And I'm assuming that an awful lot of people, I know my clients are looking forward to these spring or late spring contests. And so a huge cohort of them that started dieting January 1st. And something we touched on in a couple of our coaching behind the scenes features was how do you even end an off season? What's the goal? Are you really trying to push and ramp up food and body weight and reach this kind of supercharged level? Or what's that end of the line stance that we take before we're getting ready to transition in? So I'll let you take over right there and just say, any clients that you've been prepping for this beginning of the year phase, how do you wrap up that final off season?
Yeah, you're basically trying to get as far away from contest dieting as possible, but with good management. So you don't want to be adding a ton of body fat that you're not going to give yourself enough time to be ready for the spring season. Interestingly enough, a lot of my clients January 1st were ready to start contest preps, which is sometimes a little bit later for me. But this is just kind of a different year. But a few of my clients got 4-week extensions. I said approximately 4 more weeks, we're going to keep building food intake higher. They maybe need just a little more recovery time. The holidays was definitely a good start to that. But I'm seeing that my clients are maintaining and managing very well. Some of them are relatively low body fat, have a great hormonal profile. So that's a great place to be before we start dieting. So I just know when we go the reverse direction, things are going to move very quickly for us.
Yeah, you used the metaphor last time, just having a couple of tricks that you're keeping in your back pocket. So you don't want to be overdoing a lot of cardio. You don't want to be doing a lot of things at the end of the season that you can employ to greater degrees when you start getting into the deeper phases of contest dieting. And ironically, it's funny you say that you've given people kind of an extra month here and there. I would never have expected a year later we would still be talking about COVID, but I'm anticipating in this third and worse than ever surge that a lot of spring contests are just going to be shaky. They may not happen. And so I'm suggesting that a lot of my clients are looking more at late spring, summer. And so we've been able to extend the off season just a little bit. But one of the things that I always do, I'm constantly looking at overall health and longevity. So even if somebody's going into a pretty deep off season, every once in a while a client is doing a 2 or 3 year off season and they've intentionally allowed their body weight to get heavier. I just don't have many people too out of shape, and they're never cutting cardio down to nothing. But I completely agree, Adam, that we want to be as far away from where I think we're going to have to get as we wrap up. And, ironically, again, holidays kind of tend to do that to us anyway, right? We're doing a little traveling, a little more eating, probably just not quite as much activity. So it kind of lends itself to that perfect transition.
Absolutely.
Any unique cases, any clients that come to mind that you're doing something just a little bit different or experimenting with?
I had a client give me some really great biofeedback. She was getting out of breath during her heavy lifts. So we maybe pulled the pendulum too far back on cardio because she wasn't reaching muscular fatigue. It was all aerobic. And if you're doing a 5x5 squat, you don't want to be out of breath. So really good feedback from her. So we actually implemented some HIIT because I figured we could do it in a short amount of time and it would basically kind of murder her lungs and condition her pretty well. So implementing that within about a week and a half, she's already seen a big difference in training performance now. So you can push that pendulum too far where you're almost not healthy, you're kind of out of shape.
Absolutely. No, that's exactly why I constantly keep health as a central tenet of any kind of training and pursuit. So like I said, every once in a while you do want that extended off season. You want to get a little bit heavier. I've got a handful of clients doing that, but it's one of the things that I would say sometimes instead of getting as far away as possible, from pre-contest dieting at the very end, sometimes there's a time you want to kind of transition into it just to give yourself a little bit of a prep for exactly the reasons you just described with your client.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we are glad to be back with these smaller segments and series for the new year. And stay tuned. We've got 3 or 4 more in this episode talking about metabolic management. We'll see you next time in Contest Prep University.